Oh yeah, coming on back. Bring it on back, pick it up. Brento Cast 14. Take 4 or 5, man. It's been crazy. I'm in the car. I'm riding. I'm living. It's Tuesday morning. Had a really big massage Monday, followed up by class at the YMCA for the AC personal training. I'm here to tell you that class was in a room that was quite hot. And it made me feel like I still had a fever from the flu, which I just got over. So that was not a fun evening. Was supposed to get up and go meet one of my clients for a walk cardio this morning. Didn't make it, y'all. Didn't make it. I was dreaming of the big screen and the blue sky. Actually, what I was dreaming of was Nancy and I were in Asia, probably Japan, meeting the grandfather on the other side of a new grandchild that we don't have, ostensibly a boy. And it was, interesting. So I don't know if that would be Liam's kid or whatever. But, we love our grandchild so much. It's like she's a big part of my mental psyche and makeup at all times. And so it just makes sense in a dream that I would dream something crazy like that. But right now what I'm doing is just kind of doing a little test to see if this Spreaker software is working as intended. I am using the open microphone and not using the headphones. The headphones that I got absolutely sucked and made a horrible sounding recording. But I think plugging them in somehow disabled the microphone on this software. So yesterday I spent another 15 minutes talking into this phone and nothing recorded. So today I have uninstalled and reinstalled the Spreaker recording studio. And really the only thing I use it for is to play my music at the beginning there. But anyway, I digress. Yesterday morning I was sitting down at Baden. Like I said, I had 5 clients yesterday, and so it was going to be a big day. But mine didn't start until 11. So fortunately I had a little time, went down there, had my traditional Monday morning cup of tea at Baden Coffee, sitting out front, talking to all the people that come in, just about everybody that comes in. But when I was going in, I took a little video of a bunch of deer that were over there on the green. Baden does have a deer problem. I mean, I'll admit this, and certain folks, including folks on the town council, have been feeding them. I mean, they're beautiful to watch, and they have absolutely lost their fear of man, and they're in the town in the middle of the day and everything. It's just, it's beautiful, but on the other hand, I know that sooner or later somebody's going to hit one and, potentially hurt somebody. And also people's gardens are getting absolutely devoured. And a guy comes out, and he's one of the ones on the side of let's get rid of the deer, and he's like, you taking a selfie or you videoing those deer? I said, hey man, I'm just videoing the deer, bro. Why would I take a selfie out in front of this? He said, yeah, you like deer? I said, yeah. And then he goes on to tell me how he's super against it, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I said, I see your side. I completely agree that you can't be having people feeding, huge barrels of corn to deer. There's so many things that can go wrong from that. The deer get used to a unreliable food source and start having babies, and then the food source goes away, and you have all these mouths to feed, and you get sickly deer. And keeping a herd strong, you need to have them cold periodically. Now, this is not something I like, but it's just a fact. If they don't have predators in a particular location, they're going to overpopulate, and ultimately that propagates sickness in the herd and strengthens the quality of the deer herd, weakens the quality of the deer herd. But I digress. We had this conversation. Then I had to keep hitting pause because folks kept coming by that knew me, and we'd chat and whatnot. But eventually I ended up going over to the waterfront, walked out on the pier thinking, oh, this will be nice little soundscape for Brento Cast, and talked a little bit and come back and get in the car and realize none of that recorded. So that's where we are today. Kicking off Brento Cast at such an early hour. Choking down the after effects of the flu. The thing that I would have covered normally on this number 14 was the last 2 blogs, which the one before this week was quite short, probably only 7 minutes. Just a little bit of this and that we did with Delilah, or I did with Delilah. And then had a bigger week with Delilah this past week as I wasn't sick. And you can see the stuff from that in BrentoCast weekly vlog on BrentBowers.com. That would be the September 19th edition, I believe. Last week, did some more work on the V-Hill Brothers project. I decided to work remotely, which fortunately I was only producing so I could do that. And that definitely worked out good and kept me from spreading this stupid cold to people and made it a lot easier on me, cutting out like a 45-minute drive one way. So that was useful. But we got Tony recorded on their product for the percussion. We got some stuff done for Ansel's project, vocal comping and vocal producing. And tomorrow, actually, I will be heading back to the studio, this time in person with Roger Klofta, the saxophone player that's going to play saxophone on the V-Hill stuff, some of my stuff, and also one of Ansel's songs. And one of the things I have to do to be ready for that is to go through all those songs and make precise notes. Roger's the kind of guy that, as a saxophone player, he always has a little percussion instrument or the saxophone, and he'll just do extra rhythm throughout. I'm probably not going to do that in the interest of time and just focus on his feature parts, tomorrow. So that will be the plan. But everything considered, I just want to be extra prepared for that. And then we're getting very close to having our album 5x5, the acoustic album that was supposed to happen in a month, about ready. Oh, other news. Nancy and I will be doing our CPR certification on Saturday. And then after that, I'll be going to perform at Peggy's as somebody has either dropped out or she needed to fill in for somebody. So she asked me last week, and even though we're playing the following week, we're going to play this week as well. So that'll mean 2 Saturday nights in a row. So a mini residency at Loafers and Legends for Bowers Foreman, if you will. And this time, I believe Tony will be with us on both occasions, and that's super cool. Always great to have him there. What else? What have I been watching? Well, still trying to follow along with The Sandman. I had a couple episodes that were a little dry. Started watching last night the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It stars one of my favorites, Michelle Yeoh. I could watch her in just about anything, and as always, she's great in this. And there really is a high-level cast in this, I gotta say, and visually the film is extremely well-made and stunning, but it is absurdist. I don't know if you know anything about the absurdist style, but man, absurdist style is kind of hard to stay with. And I'm this is like a regular length movie already, and it's about to go into the third act. So I got 28 minutes left. So this will ultimately mean I have watched it in 3 sessions if I watch it in one more session. And it's not easy to stay with it because the story is all over the place. It is semi-cohesive, but the concept is it's literally absurd. So it's an absurdist style film where anything can happen. And eventually they took it in kind of a stupid sexual direction for a second. Thank God they didn't dwell on that. I can't go into specifics because they're just so absurd. I don't even want to talk about them. But anyway, that's an interesting film that a lot of critics have really blown up as being this great thing. And I don't know. So far, I don't think it's going to be one of my favorite films, but I don't know. To see something completely different, maybe. But anywho, what else? I have been watching that. I have been starting to trickle my time back into Dad's studio because I have a character that has to get out by Halloween. I got the guy that built the sculpting part of that for me, sort of pressuring me to do more because I think he wants that easy money. And I've kind of come to the place where I feel like this is going to be my last big commission project because I just can't spend that kind of money and not see a return on it. And Daz Studio is becoming less and less easy to work with. Daz3D.com, not Daz Studio. Daz Studio is the software. But I don't want to close the door entirely, but I do want to get it to a point where I get my money back for this and then just step away for a while and see if I still have any passion for it. I have so much going on with music and Delilah and other things that it's just hard to take that time back to something that's just making pictures. And with the whole AI art revolution now, you don't really have to even be able to use any software. Basically, you just put in a text command in Discord and you get your pictures. So I don't know. It's really created some soul searching for me on this. I put so much energy and time into the 3D hobby, and now it's just completely changed, and you don't have to have any skill. So I don't know, man. It's one of those. It's a conundrum. I do see a lot of what I would have to call plagiarization. People posting these AI generated artworks as something that they've painted, and then all the people, man, you're amazing. I'm like, no, he's not amazing. He can type English. That's what the skill set required to do that is now. So I've got mixed feelings about it. I feel like if you post one of those, you should say it's an AI generated image. I just put the text in or whatever, and that's what I do. But I don't know. It's we'll see how that's all going to shake out. New rules are going to come about for proper etiquette, and we'll just see what people do. But from a pure artist perspective, I mean, I'm not even a pure artist. A pure artist is somebody like Les Garner that can he can draw it, he can build it in 3D, he can rig it, and he can animate it. He can also do amazing traditional media works on canvas. That's real. When I say art, I mean like that's real traditional art, fine art. I've never been able to do fine art. Actually, I've been able to fake it through the use of 3D technology. And now I can do that even easier. So, I don't know, man. It's just like, what's the point of doing this work anymore if you're really just pretending, for lack of a better word, I do not know the answer at this time. Last week, as I was just coming off the sick bed, I discovered a new place to eat breakfast called Lulu's in Richfield. And across the board, they're about $1 to $1.50 cheaper on everything than the breakfast spots in Albemarle. And it definitely has that old school breakfast vibe like places I went to with my dad. I can't even tell you how comforting this is to me. Somebody asked me last night after class, a guy that I guess knew my dad. He said, "Is your dad still living?" I said, "No. He passed away about 6 years ago." And we were talking about the difficulties of dealing with our, taking care of our mothers, as he's in a similar situation. Only his mother, I think, is in probably a lot worse shape than mine. And some of the difficulties, associated with them not feeling great and their personalities over time changing. And I would have to say that's definitely something that I've experienced. Although Mom has her phases where she kind of gets back to herself and is feeling good and it's like nothing's happened. And then other times, the selfish side of her comes out when she's not feeling good. And I totally can relate to that, because if you don't feel good, doesn't make you really want to be nice. And some people are magnanimous up to a point, and then the switch happens, in her case, she's been on painkillers for 10 years. So I know that's affected her personality a bit. But I'm just kind of hoping that she can kind of hang on to who she really is and minimize the bits where she's being a little nasty to Summer, who lives with her and takes care of her. And, when somebody does something for you on a daily basis, it's very easy to take them for granted. And I think that's going on. And, of course, it flares up when I'm the tiredest or most aggravated with another situation. That's the only time that this seems to occur. And then I have to, really hold myself back from calling somebody up and just letting it go, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a reactionary. But apart from that, let's talk about the virtues of slicing a BLT versus having it whole. I just think when you order a BLT, it ought to be cut diagonally down the middle. The reason being, it creates all these easy angles to get a coarse sandwich in your mouth and have a nice bite without having to get it all over your beard, all over the side of your face. It just makes good sense. And to me, it's just proper sandwich etiquette. You have to slice the BLT diagonally down the center. That said, the one I had this morning from Wink's Grill was free. So I'm not going to look a free horse in the mouth, a gift horse in the mouth, And it tasted great. Just wasn't sliced the way I like it. Anyway, moving right along. Last Sunday, we took Delilah and we went to breakfast, ultimately brunch, at Cantina 73. Really liked that place. And she loves some queso. That's actually the first place we ever took her out to eat without her mama being with us. Went back when she was about 1. Not even 1, actually. And so I have memories, and there's a video of that, on my YouTube channel. You'd better believe that. But we haven't been. We've been back there since then, but we haven't been there in a while. And she got a hold of that queso, and that really made her happy. She had that, and we had went to the park right before that, and she already had some chips, and she wanted to bring those chips inside. So we let her, and just did our thing there and had a light breakfast / lunch, and then we went out to I think it's Thomas Family Farm on 601. They do the harvest farm and all the little activities for the kids and the corn mazes. Awesome. If you guys aren't into that, that's just one of the cool traditions of the South. And we try to go to every single one of these, and there's a bunch of them around. We try to go to every single one of them. Turns out they didn't. Everything was sitting there ready, but nobody was out there. So it turns out they don't open until this coming Saturday. So as Nancy and I are going to be in that class, and then I have a show, we are taking that Sunday off to go with her to kick off fall festival season in high style. We're going to at least go to one. We might go to 2 of those, So that'll be how we spend our Sunday afternoon. But anyway, we ended up meeting Summer out there. Her boyfriend's in the area, and so I guess they went to the park and played. We really haven't met him yet, but at this point, I think she was ready for him to meet Summer. Him to meet Delilah, rather, and they met and played out there and at the park. It's a nice park too. Locust has a very nice park. I will say that. And then I came home and met up with the guys about 4-ish. We had about a 2-hour practice to get ready because we've been doing all this recording. We hadn't had a chance to practice together, so we got 2 shows coming up. So we rehearsed those, and today is probably going to be a little more personal rehearsal for me. Maybe tomorrow a bit too, before I head off to the studio. The more you practice, the more fun the gigs are. That's all I can tell you, man. Back in jiu-jitsu, when somebody would, I'd tap somebody, they'd say, man, you just got lucky. I'm like, it's funny. I come here 4 nights a week, and the more I come, the luckier I get. So that's what she wrote. But, yeah, I know I'm meandering a bit because it's just kind of weird having this long stretch without any Brencho cast. Hadn't done much with the VHS stuff. Like I said, hadn't been feeling well. But I'm back to myself, except for just hacking up this phlegm, which hopefully will be done in a day or so. And, looking forward to getting some sort of regularity with these and a structure. And if this works, I'm going to keep trying to do them mobile, though, because I do think that allows me to do them at more opportune times as opposed to setting up the whole studio to record there. But, yeah, man, life is good. The weather is finally starting to turn cool, and we love that. Y'all know we love some cool weather. It's hot like in the afternoons, but in the morning times, it's like a 76 right now. So it's really nice, and you can sort of start to feel the nip in the air. I like that. I figure I'll be in shorts for maybe another 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll be switching to pants for the winter. Good times, man. Good times to be alive. Finally getting, I think, past as a nation, past this COVID crap, and because we were so deep into the, excuse me, into the 4-year cycle. There's less political jockeying going on and, i.e. lying. Not looking forward to going through that again, but it'll spin up here in another year or so, I guess. But at least right now there's a little bit of a peace in America, and I'm happy for that. We're all well over all the lies and media election manipulation, which I don't think anybody could argue that happened this time. Even if an outright election fraud didn't happen, and I seriously have my doubts about that because I think it probably did. It's just terrible, really, what's going on in this country with certain powerful groups trying to manipulate the results of the election and successfully doing so. And don't even get me started on Big Pharma, because the one thing that I took that cured my COVID, they've made illegal, so I know something's up. Everything is not, on the level with the CDC. Believe that. But I survived. I'm going to sign off wishing you guys well for another week. And perhaps this BrentoCast recorded and I can publish it. And we'll see you guys in BrentoCast 15.